Hi, I'm Jason. Welcome to my channel, Year Rideshare. This is my weekly review video where I go over the numbers and tell you anything exciting that happened throughout the week. I'm actually going to do this every other week. I hope to make this a 5 to 10 minute video, go over the numbers with you, show you that I am an active driver. I drive between 20 to 30 hours per week, and you'll see that in my numbers. Hang around for the second week. It was the best weekend I've had in at least 5 to 6 weeks. I'm excited to talk to you about that. So let's have a look at the app and go over the numbers. So as you see here, this is for the week of October 6th to October 13th. I drove 5 days that week, Wednesday through Sunday. I did a total of 20 hours and 7 minutes. The total I made was $70.96. My tips were $72.29. I did get an additional $16 in cash tips. So the total for the week was $716.96. If you were to divide that by 20 hours, I made $35.84 per hour. Though I did make a little over 10% in tips this week, they were certainly down from the previous week. A lot of that had to do with the area that I was driving in. Once again, I target the business traveler, tourism, and people that are out for a good time. If I get stuck in the neighborhoods, giving people rides that use this as a transportation service, they don't typically tip the same. So sometimes it changes from week to week. Now let's move on to the next week. That was for the week of October 13th to the October 20th. Let's look at the app. Now for this week, I made $872. I drove for 6 days for a total of 23 hours and 45 minutes. Tips for this week were $76.28. I only got an additional $10 in actual cash tips. So that would bring the total to $882 in 23 hours and 45 minutes. So if you were to divide 882 by 23.75 hours, that would give you $37.21. That's a little higher than last week at $35, but I really kind of want to get down here into the numbers and narrow it down because earlier in the week I didn't do very well. Later in the week, the weekend got better. It's probably one of the best weekends I've had in a long time. Let's have a look at those numbers. Weekly breakdown, second week. Now early in the week, I didn't do so well. On Tuesday, I went out for 2 hours and 46 minutes, and I only did $66. On Wednesday, I did 3 hours, 46 minutes, and I did $82. On Thursday, I did 110, and I stayed out for approximately 4 hours. If you were to add these 3 days together, I did 10 hours, 10.5 hours to be exact, and I made a total of $259.69. If you were to divide 259 by 10.5, that gives you a total hourly of 24.73, and that includes tips. I didn't do well. I was actually pretty depressed. If that's all I was going to make, I would not be driving Uber for very much longer. But however, come the weekend, I had probably one of the best weekends I've had in 5 to 6 weeks. On Friday, I went out for a total of 5 hours, and I did $236.46. On Saturday, I went out for 4 hours, 48 minutes, and I did $235.98. On Sunday, I went out for 3 hours, 10 minutes, and I did $140. If you were to add up all the hours, Friday, Saturday, and Sunday, that would give you 13 hours. I did a total of $611. And the total hourly for those 3 days was $47 an hour. That's how from $24 an hour earlier in the week to $47 an hour on the weekend, I ended up with an average of $37 per hour. Very happy with that. Like I said, I hadn't had a weekend like this in a long time. Phoenix is starting to get into the busier season, and you can definitely see it in the numbers. One of the big secrets to making money with Uber is to set a schedule and go work the schedule. There's no going home early. There's no cutting out in the middle of the week. If I would have just not drove last weekend, look what I would have missed out on. You need to set a schedule and go work your schedule. At the end of the week, take the numbers home and evaluate how well you did. Like I said earlier, Phoenix is starting to get back into the busy season. We've got all the snowbirds in town, the college students in town, There's a number of events going on. This is the season I drive for. Just want to make this video short and sweet. I am putting out another video on the car. I hit 495,000 miles. I'm doing the detailed walk around video that should be up later this week. If you would, please like, subscribe, and hit that bell button. You'll be notified when I post my next videos. That's all for this week. Hope to see you soon.